Welcome to the Workshop Therapy Podcast. I'm your host, Andrew, and joining me tonight is my favorite co-host of all time.
Hi, it's me again.
Thought you were going to go, hi, it's me. I'm the problem.
I thought about it, but you said I shouldn't say things like that. It's self-deprecating.
It is very self-deprecating and bad for your mental health to be constantly telling yourself that you're the
It's true.
problem.
I'm trying not to.
Good job.
Thanks.
So since this is round 2 and I introduced the topic, or I introduced the podcast, are you going to give us the background information?
No,
So it's going to be the same as take 1, except I have to do more work?
pretty much.
Okay. So today's podcast, we're going to talk a little bit about a combination of things. I noticed something and thought about something that I call, and this isn't a technical diagnosis of anything, this is just something I was trying to put a name to, and I haven't really found a specific real thing for this, like as in previously described. So the phrase I came up with was interpersonal locational dysregulation. So basically, children in general, it seems like, but autistic children in particular
And
seem to have,
ADHD,
and
kind of
ADHD,
the same.
Kids have this uncanny knack for being in the way. Like you'll be walking through a room to a destination, and the child will be walking to a different destination that doesn't cross paths but will somehow end up in front of you, and it's quite annoying. But I posted a reel on the social medias and just about my observations and a strategy to help them learn how to be a little bit more spatially aware. And so you, being the expert in the area,
Not an expert. Please do not think that I am an expert.
yes, the person who's getting a master's in the
I am.
topic is not the expert.
Okay, continue.
Don't think I'm an expert. I just get a 4.0 in the subject.
Continue on.
Okay, so not expert person here. I thought we should talk about it because it has broader ramifications than just, your child being annoying in front of you.
Yeah, so I don't know. I really liked it when you posted that reel about it because it is something that a lot of kids, especially kids on the spectrum, deal with, and people on the spectrum in general. I don't know that you'd dove really deep into the why that happens. You did a little bit.
Not really. I just
So do you remember what you talked about, like why?
Well, I don't remember exactly what I said, but the basic gist of it is because autism and ADHD are essentially not essentially, are at least in part neurodevelopmental disorders, but they're kind of a sensory processing disorder on a higher level. Neurotypical people, normal people, have a lot of heuristics and algorithms that they've learned that function in their head to kind of filter out extraneous information. And so they can kind of focus on their task a little bit easier than people who are on the spectrum or neurodivergent or have these sensory processing disorders. And so in the case of kids, and this is my theory, I literally haven't seen any research about this, so I'm just a genius.
Oh, you are.
Not really.
Continue.
Yeah, I only have a 3.9. You have the 4.0, so you're the genius.
Oh, good heavens.
Anyway, so what I believe is going on is basically they're so overwhelmed with sensory input that they're focusing on you, but they're kind of unconsciously drawn into your path because they're focusing on you as potentially their safe space, or you're kind of a attentional magnet for them, so they just naturally kind of drift into your path.
Yeah, I think that's definitely part of it. Okay, I just had a little insight for you.
Because you're a genius and you're
smarter
than me.
Because, as many of you know, we're building a house and we're doing lots of the work ourselves, and that can cause contention between two people who have different ideas of the level things have to be done to in certain areas. So this week we're getting spray foaming done in our house, which is amazing. I'm super excited about it. But
because it'll be insulated.
Yes, it'll be insulated, and winter is coming.
Yep.
So yay, hooray, super happy. But one of the things that you have to do to prepare your house to get spray foam in the ceiling is to cover surfaces that might get covered in spray foam. And we had a bit of a disagreement over the amount of surfaces that need to be covered.
As the Gottmans would say, we had a oh darn it. How do they say that? Regrettable incident?
We had a
Well,
regrettable.
no, that's not what they say. Okay, continue on.
Anyway, so we had this disagreement about how much needed to be covered because if they say like, oh, so I did a little research and it was like overspray can be at least 4 feet. And so in my mind, at least 4 feet means that I need to cover at least 8 feet of surrounding area. And what got me thinking about this was when you said, oh, you only have a 3.9, you have a 4.0. I have a 4.0, yes, but I always do more than required. Like that's my personality type. I always want to make sure I have more done, or I cover more area, or I prepare for more things that can go wrong. That's just my tendency. But part of it is, and you know this from being around me and walking with me, is that like I do easily bump into people and trip on things and fairly clumsy. So when I have things like that I can control and I know I can stop from having, then I get a little extra.
OCD.
Yeah, OCD. But it's something that I can control. So when I was thinking about this week, and just right now, it just kind of clicked in my head that that's why I feel the need to do that. Is because if you're painting and you put down a strip of paper, you're not going to get anything else. If I'm painting, and we know this, I need the whole drop cloth.
It's very true. There is some
And so,
spatial.
So for me, when I'm looking at a situation like that and going, there can be overspray, I need to cover everything because there can be a little paint splatter. I know, but somehow there will be paint where there should never have been paint. But it gets there. And so I have to have the drop cloth. And I can't just have the drop cloth not taped to anything either. It has to be taped, or there will be paint in that section of carpet where they pulled back. And I don't know how it happens, but that's the way it works for me, right? And as I was thinking about this today, a little bit, and just actually since you posted that reel about it this week, I was thinking about why that might be the case, and it clicked for me just when we were thinking about that's why I was so obsessed with all the surfaces needing to be covered. And you felt frustrated by it. You're like, this is overkill.
I wasn't. That is, and the Gottmans, it is a regrettable incident. But I wasn't. I was trying to get as much covered as possible, as quickly as possible, and there's things that.
It's true. But on the whole, and I would say this, we've known each other since we were 18. We've known each other for a long time.
Yeah.
Okay. You can get away with doing much less than I can get away with doing.
I don't like the way you say that.
But
you can get away with doing much less.
You can put a lot less effort in. And I think that that's part of it. Neurodivergent people, we're given 100, 110% all the time to try and keep the mask up and get things to be where we're safe and we're acceptable to what's going on. Whereas you can run at 60%. It's true. You don't know what to say. But
no, I have all sorts of witty responses that may not be appropriate to this. You're essentially saying that I'm.
No, but this is the thing. No, so in tying it together too, though, there's lots of, and girls on the spectrum especially get misdiagnosed as OCD or perfectionists when really it's just, that's the way I cope. That's how I keep everything going, right? I have backups for backups of things. True. You do not.
That's true because.
Take for example. I am amazing at finding my way around a shopping center. But we live in a very small town.
Very small town.
Very small town.
We recently got our second four-way stop, small town.
And I got lost on the way to the pool today.
And yet, the weird thing for me about that particular thing is the fact that the route that you choose to get to the pool is hands down the most confusing, complicated route you could possibly take. And yet you can navigate that perfectly. But the route that has literally one left-hand turn is the one that throws you off.
I can't do it. I don't know why. But the other route, anyway, I have my one route and I have to take that route. And if I deviate from that route, bad things happen. And so that's why I have to leave extra time and I have to put down extra drop cloths and I have to make sure things, because that's the way the world works for me. And so when I do an assignment, I do extra and I try and make sure that I have all the things in place because that's how I deal with things that are going on. But
this has gone completely off the rails from where we were intending to go.
Kind of, but at the same point, it ties back in for the tendency for people to on the spectrum to bump into other people. It's because there's a lot of proprioceptive dysfunction, right?
So proprioception is your, for people who don't
vestibular
know,
system and motor planning.
well, proprioception is your body's awareness of itself in
In
space.
space. Yeah.
So that's where you can, like if you close your eyes, I can tell that my hand is facing towards me versus facing away from me without looking at it.
That's where I'm tying it back in. So the challenges with proprioception, your vestibular system, motor planning. For the life of me, I'm not a dumb person, but figuring out north, south, east, or west, I don't know. I cannot keep that straight in my head, right? Like that is just one of those things that my body in space cannot figure out. I can't. So proprioception, the unconscious, your body's unconscious sense of its own position, movement, and force, right?
Yep.
So there's problems with the system, and it can cause you to misjudge spatial relationships. And I tried to find some research like you did, and I haven't found a ton, but I think it is very much that we start to find people that we feel safe around or objects that we feel like we're not going to get hurt around. And that makes us feel safer. Like we are, again, building a house and we have the sketchy forklift.
How is it the sketchy forklift? What's sketchy about it?
It's rusty and old, and the platform that you lift yourself up on.
I will grant that the platform's sketchy. The forklift isn't sketchy.
It leaks oil if you go up too high.
Yeah, but that's hydraulics.
Comes dripping down.
Yeah, but that just means that it'll just settle down. It's not like it's going to blow up.
It's sketchy. Anyhow, the platform on the top.
Lots of people would disagree with you.
That's fine. The platform on the top is like, what is it? I don't even know what it is.
They're steel pallets.
It's like, a steel pallet that you can see the ground underneath.
Yeah, they're wire mesh steel pallets that are welded together.
There is no safety chain.
That's not true.
Nothing.
It's chained to the forks.
Yeah, in a sketchy manner.
It cannot possibly fall off the forks.
Well, I can because there is nothing to stop me.
No, you'd have to fling yourself off the edge.
But this is the thing, though, is that I walk around with a constant fear of falling or bumping into things. So putting me on something like that is so incredibly triggering and terrifying because I know that I can fall and bump into things that I know exist on the ground.
Yeah, but there's nothing to fall or bump into on that. It's just a flat surface.
Yes, but you had things up there and there was two people on there.
And then you'd have to fling yourself off. I like the word fling.
You just say this all the time, but you're not
fling.
But you're not understanding. Like it's something that like it's one of those constant things running in my head. What am I going to hit? How could this be not a safe situation for me? Totally fine. You totally fine up there. Me terrified because I know. I mean, how many times have I fallen walking?
It's true.
I don't even know what I run into. How many bruises do I discover that I have no clue where they came from? It's just the way that it goes, right? So it's just that spatial relationship with your surrounding can really affect things, right? And so you can have a hyposensitivity to it or a hypersensitivity to it. So you can be over or under responsive to your surroundings. And I think, okay, I'm going to stop saying I think. If you're sensory seeking, you're going to seek for people to bump into because it actually makes you feel safer because you hit that boundary.
Even though it happens so often that you want to smack the person upside the head sometimes.
Well, you want to, but they don't because every time they hit you, they feel safe. Whoop, bumped into dad. Okay, I'm good. I can turn that corner. I can do this. I hit dad instead of that thing. And you see it in little kids, like when they're seeking that safety. I think it's similar to like little kids are seeking safety. They'll bump into you. Or they'll, push into you or, run around in orbit until they smack into your legs. It's a stop, but it's a safe stop. I don't know if any of this is my ramblings on the subject that I was thinking about.
That makes sense, but doesn't track with what you said that we were going to talk about.
I know, it's kind of gone a little crazy, sorry. I don't know.
Speaking of crazy, have you ever noticed how I say fling?
Yes.
Do you know why I say that?
No.
This is totally ADHD brain going on right now. So in The Long Dark Tea Time of the Soul.
I don't know what that is.
It's a book.
Okay.
I first listened to it. It's an audiobook by Douglas Adams, who's the author of The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. There's a scene where Thor is on his way back to Asgard and with his, because she's not really his girlfriend, but some random woman he kidnaps from England.
Okay.
It's a really disjointed story.
So far, yes.
Anyway, he gets to this point where there's this lady that he's familiar with in
Biblical sense.
the god realm. No, in the god realms in Asgard,
All right.
and she's all happy and go lucky, and then she tells Thor that she's going to commit suicide by putting that knife in the corner and just fling myself on it. She's just like this, just fling. Yeah. So the word fling, that's how I have to say it. Fling.
I'm worried about you.
Yeah, that's okay. Feelings mutual.
Okay, so back to our topic. Although it's a little bit rambly, I'm still kind of on topic. Fling. Yeah. Okay, so many autistic and ADHD people have problems with motor control, motor planning. Clumsiness, dyspraxia can cause a range of motor skill difficulties, trouble with fine motor skills. But the thing that I want to talk about is that it's also varied ability. So you'll think, oh, this person's really great at this thing. They should be able to do this, and they might not be able to do that at all.
Yeah, there's no, like a neurotypical person can develop a skill and then that skill is transferable through to other skills. Like taking a workshop example, developing your hand tool skills with a hand plane or a hand saw kind of to some extent carries over into the other tools that you're using. Whereas if you have some sort of motor.
So like a motor dysfunction could be you cannot walk in a straight line, but you're an amazing driver.
Yeah. Or you can, like, again, workshop, you could cut a perfectly straight line with a handsaw, but for the life of you can't do it with a chisel or draw a straight line or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's those kinds of things. But what I was kind of leading into my question with all of it, and this is just where my brain has gone in questioning this, is how many kids don't get into things like in the workshop or now in our current education state don't get into science or computer things or whatever because people are annoyed with them bumping into things and, oh, you might break that. Oh, no, you can't do that. You're not safe to do that. You need to sit here. Instead of taking the time to let them bump into things, to let them have mistakes, because we live in a world where we're so used to getting the perfect thing the first time.
Yeah.
That we're not allowing these mistakes, these bumps, these things to happen. And so kids are missing out on opportunities to learn and grow. And mental health is suffering and jobs aren't being done and people aren't moving on in life. They're staying stuck because they're not willing to have those bumps. So as frustrating as it is for you, I'm glad that our son bumps into you. I'm glad that he was able to get up on that sketchy forklift with his cousins and put all the stuff on the 15-foot high, 16-foot high, whatever, center of the tarp shelter that I couldn't watch and had to not be there for. But I'm glad that he could do that.
Since the three of them are basically Larry, Moe, and Curly.
Yeah. But the thing is, I'm glad that he could do that and he felt confident in his skills because at his age, I would not have felt confident. I don't feel confident now. And I know that I'm more confident in my abilities than I was then, but there's no way. And I'm glad that he has those opportunities to grow and make mistakes. Has when he cut off the end of his finger with a can opener. Well, it wasn't the can opener. It was the can that he attempted to open.
Itself. Well, yeah, he grabbed the lid. And by cut off the end of his finger, he took
the tip of his pinky.
Yeah, like a 32nd of an inch. It's
got a good scar.
It's barely noticeable.
It is not.
It took off a little tiny tip of the skin.
You couldn't see his sliver today either.
I saw a dot there.
Anyhow, he's got a scar. Or when he closed the same finger in the car door. Or like there's lots of these things and you'll see this in kids and they're clumsier and they've got these things. And instead of building padded brooms and protecting them from everything, there has to be some level of risk. And so then I think that when we don't allow any risk, we stunt our children's growth or our own growth.
Yeah.
Right? Like that fear of, honestly, like I should never be allowed to get in a car without a set GPS. But not setting the GPS has allowed me to find the one way that I know how to get to the pool every time. Is it the most normal way to get there? Probably not, I guess. Apparently not. I've been told it's not.
Except for the people who live on that particular street. I would hands down guess that you are the only person
that goes that route.
goes that way specifically to go to the multiplex.
But but it works for me.
It's
every time I get there.
It's definitely the scenic route.
A scenic route takes like what, a minute longer than going the other way?
Probably 2.
Wow.
But given that you can drive across the whole town in 2.5 minutes.
Okay, but
maybe 3 minutes.
If I get lost going the other way every time, and I don't get lost this way, I'm actually saving time.
It's true. I'm not criticizing. I'm just surprised. Isn't that wonderful that we've been married for 19 years, more than 19 years now, and you still surprise me?
I know, every day.
It's a shock.
But yeah, so like to tie it back in together, see how much I'm trying to stay on a topic today for you?
And I'm just flinging us all over the place.
I know, usually it's me flinging us all over the place. Fling is over here. Did you take something today?
Just high on life, baby.
Okay. But I think it's important for us to give ourselves opportunities to bump into other people too. Be okay.
Prisoners. We all locked in. What's that from?
Honestly, I have no idea.
The Love Bug.
And you're frightening me.
Herbie, help, I'm locked in. We all.
Okay.
Sorry, I totally derailed you.
Derailed straight again. I think it's important to give ourselves the opportunity to fail, to bump into people, to unmask enough that change and growth can happen. Because I think a lot of us, neurotypical or neurodiverse, get stuck in that perfectionist pattern or the habitual way of doing things, and you're not willing to bump into things, to make mistakes, to grow. And that being said, there's lots of kids who are not being exposed to opportunities that might be considered a challenge or something, even if it's in their area of interest. Like a kid who's totally in love with trains. I know I'm very stereotyping here, but maybe they'd make an absolutely amazing train conductor, but they're never going to be given the chance because, they trip and fall down all the time or whatever it is. And I know this week, since you posted that, I've thought about it with, do I give my son enough chances to do blacksmithing or to learn about welding or electrician or whatever he wants to do when I'm absolutely terrified of him zapping or lighting himself on fire?
Well, he'll only do it once.
Yes, but will we still have him at the end of this episode? Theoretically. And so it's hard, but I think that in society today, we have things that we're like, oh, this is a safe thing to do. Like our little girls go to gymnastics and we don't think about, the same way that those other things are deemed as unsafe.
And I think, unfortunately, to that point, the world is beginning to take jobs that are potentially unsafe and outsource them to somebody else, right?
It's almost like they vilify it, like it's not okay or you can't do it or... Yeah, I agree.
And you're...
Well, and I think that's a lot of for me, in high school, once you should be... When we as kids were given the opportunity to take things like shop and home ec or whatever, I mean, sewed straight through my finger with the sewing machine needle. It happened. And I looked after myself and got myself down to the office to ask for help when the sewing teacher just threw her hands in the air and cried, "Not again," and ran out of the room.
So she demonstrated a lack of emotional resilience.
She did not have I mean, she'd been teaching home ec at the junior high level, so grade 7 and 8, or grade 8 and 9 for 20 years.
So she was obviously a broken woman.
She was a broken woman. She took early retirement.
Surprising that she didn't just leave on stress leave.
But we're not giving kids those opportunities to learn those skills either, to break the cups, to have the cake. I mean, I remember horrible things happening in home ec class. I'm not surprised this woman was not stable. But we're not giving our kids those opportunities to do that anymore. Oh, here's the cake. Here's the box. Add the ingredients, right? We're not, go measure this and try. I remember one girl's pie that had been in the oven for 2 hours. It was we had a double period and it was still liquid.
Did something wrong.
I don't know what happened there. Or we're doing Ukrainian Easter eggs and we set off the sprinklers in the classroom because the flame touched the sprinklers. Because the girl who was cleaning up the oil on the stove tossed it on top of the Bunsen burner. We were doing the eggs.
There's a genius.
Yeah, it was good times. But those are opportunities to bump.
Yeah.
right?
Well, it reminds me of a video with Neil deGrasse Tyson, astrophysicist there. He was talking about experiments at home, like kind of along the same lines of we were protecting our kids from knocking over the cup or
Yeah.
whatever. And he's saying that, well, that's an opportunity for them to experiment and learn principles of gravity or, material science or all of these different things. Like we really do learn and grow by breaking things.
We do. Case in point. It was Thanksgiving a couple weeks ago in Canada.
Canadian Thanksgiving, which is the first and better Thanksgiving.
Anyway.
There's some controversy. Fight us in the comments.
Moving on, it's Thanksgiving in Canada. We just do it before winter so people can travel.
Yeah, our winter comes earlier, so we do it earlier.
Anyhow.
It was actually celebrated before the U.S. Thanksgiving was, officially.
Okay. Anyway, we were making pumpkin pies.
It's better.
Fling! I was making pumpkin pies with the girls.
And one of them flinged it on the floor.
And they were in the oven, and I'd set the timer for how long they needed to be, and I had to run out to take you something at the house or something. I don't know. I went out of the house for some reason, and I told the kids, just when the timer goes off, you can just let it be. But our 8-year-old, who's been very interested in helping in the kitchen and had helped me to mix all the pie fillings, and decided she could take the pie out of the oven by herself.
Was that how that happened?
Yes. So I'm not sure the pie was totally set yet either. But she decided she could take the pumpkin pie out of the oven by herself. And it was just in like it was a gluten-free crust, and I have not perfected that on my own, so I bought the gluten-free crust. So it's just in one of those thin...
it's okay to not have to perfect it.
I know, I'm not even trying anymore because it's bad.
Because those are actually pretty good.
They are much better than ones I've tried to make with gluten-free flour.
You are a fantastic baker, but not gluten-free.
Yeah. So anyway, there's these great pie shells that are gluten-free, and so it's just in one of those thin...
Kinnikinnicks.
Yeah. It's just in one of those thin metal pie plates. And bless her sweet little heart, it's not a far walk from the table to the stove. She got that stove door open, and it's a big stove door. She's not very tall. She had to reach in, pull it out. Didn't burn herself.
Which is a good thing.
Which is great. And she got almost to the table.
Before the pie pan
caved, because she was probably holding it by just
the two edges.
The two edges as little as she could, and it probably was starting to get hot. And the pan just folded in half, and the pie folded in half and landed upside down on the floor.
And when you got back, she was hiding in her room crying?
No, when I got back, she called me from the Alexa. And as I was coming back down the driveway. Yeah, I'd been over taking something to you. Anyhow, I was coming back down the driveway, and she called me on the Alexa. And she's like, "Mom," and I could hear like the crying in her voice. I was like, "What's wrong?" She's, "Mom." So I just ran to the house, and I opened the door, and she's like, "I just ran off. I don't even know where she went to." Her 4-year-old sister's there, and she's like, "Made a mess." Child made a mess. So I went in and saw the pie smushed down the table leg and on the floor. And then I was like, okay, so I gotta go find this kid who had run off and was hiding behind the chicken coop.
Well, she ran outside.
Yeah, took off. And so I had to go and get her, and I brought her back. And she's freaking out, "You're gonna be mad I made moo." I was like, "It's just a pie. It's okay. It's just the pie." So I brought her back in the house, and we sat down beside the upside down pie, and I was like, "That's okay. We'd made 2. The other one's not done yet, and we can sit here and let's try this one. Just make sure your fork doesn't touch the floor, just to eat the top bits." And by the end of it, she was happy, and it was fine, and she was ready to move on and do something different. But I think how different it would have been if I had railed on her for making a mess and whatever. Then she cleaned it all up. She went and got this stuff. I didn't even ask her to. She went and got everything, picked it all up, cleaned it up, washed the floor off, and was happy to help and try again. But, part of that is poor spatial awareness. I think she probably hit the edge of the table with the bottom of the pie pan, judging by where it was in relation to and not knowing how hot it's going to be and all those things. But you don't learn that without doing that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? I didn't know you were supposed to take the plastic off the pizza. The first time I cooked pizza in the oven. It did not say that on the instructions. It said leave it on the cardboard tray. So I left it on the cardboard tray.
And it didn't taste well after.
The house didn't smell great either. And it was a pain to clean up.
That's like the I was
Or
reading
when it
one of
said take it
those.
off the cardboard tray and bake it on the rack, and
You did that too?
it melted through the rack. That was unpleasant.
Since when did they tell you to bake it on the rack?
There was one. It was one. This was like a long time ago.
I was just
I
going to
haven't been
say,
able to eat bread products in a very long time.
it was one of those
This is like pre us
random
getting married. So
random social media things where they're
Oh.
like, tell us the stupid things you did in the comments. One was
Right?
like, I had a friend that hated take home pizzas because they always made a mess in his oven. To figure out that you could leave it on the little cardboard thing or put it on a tray, and when he learned that, his life changed.
But it used to literally say like put it directly onto the oven rack, and that was bad. And then how do you get it out? And then it's like slid down the oven door and got lodged between the door and down between the drawer. That was a mess.
So this is where our lives are completely different. I didn't even know freezer pizzas were a thing until I went away to university.
I was going to say till I served you one.
Yeah, basically, actually. But yeah, I guess I've said this. I've said this before. And I'll
We
say
grew
it
up
again.
different.
We grew up differently. But no, I didn't know. I didn't know frozen vegetables were a thing. Like I didn't know you could buy frozen vegetables in the store.
I didn't know people were freezing their own.
Yeah, I didn't know that people bought frozen vegetables until I was like 10, 13, 12, somewhere in that range.
Our lives were different.
Very different.
And it's okay.
You got to eat fruit by the foot.
I know.
Rich
and
person.
Dunkaroos.
And Dunkaroos. So rich.
Oh, and fruit roll-ups, wagon wheels.
Wagon wheels.
And at times besides
that doesn't
Halloween.
make me jealous now. Yeah, that's the crazy thing is you got to eat them
and Viva Pops. All the good
You got to eat those at other times other than October. I didn't even know they existed other times. I thought they were just Halloween treats.
Your life is sad.
Speaking of Halloween treats, you know what's gross? Rockets. Smarties in the U.S. Rockets are gross.
Yeah. Anyway.
Never understood why people like them.
Thinking about all of those things and thinking about spatial awareness, it's definitely something that we have very different in our relationship. The way that we deal with our bodies in space. I struggle with mine. But don't limit yourself if that's something that you struggle with. Be willing to be willing to work with your limitations or to recognize them, but push your boundaries.
Yeah.
If it's, and especially if it's something that you're really interested in and you want to do, if you really want to do woodworking, but know that you are a danger to yourself and others with power tools, do hand
tool instead.
Do hand tools and get the saw stop. That is 100% worth it if I was going to be doing anything like that.
There's a guy I occasionally see on Instagram, actually, speaking of woodworkers. He's blind and he's a woodworker.
Holy crap.
And not hand tools, like power tool woodworker. And it's like there's ways of doing anything you want to do. You just have to potentially modify it for your use case scenario instead of just being neurotypical or whatever.
Yeah, so I think the takeaway for me is don't be upset at your kid or your coworker or your spouse who bumps into you all the time. Realize that's just their way of being sure of where things are. Some of us have to continually touch the hot thing.
Some of us have to navigate by braille.
It's true.
So don't judge the person who's driving the beat-up car. They're probably just navigating by braille.
They could
make sure you stay away from them.
Give them their space.
Give them their space.
It could be that they're ADHD and very easily distracted as well. So that is different than what I'm talking about. Distractibility it is also a problem in the spatial awareness. But I'm talking, But anyway, love those neurospicy people in your life.
You have to, otherwise you'll cry.
Because we all have them.
Yep.
And if you're one, I'm sorry to tell you, and you're married, you probably found another one.
That's offensive.
It's true. The statistics, I don't know, I looked it up a while ago, are quite high that ADHD and autistic people find each other.
Then how am I normal?
You're not normal.
I'm perfectly normal.
I've never said you were normal.
Yeah, but you're the neurodiverse one here, so why should I trust you?
We're just different ends of the spectrum, my friend.
And on that bombshell.
That is not a bombshell because everyone already knew.
I disagree. There's many people who are in denial, including myself.
I think, I asked a few questions, but if you have any thoughts on it or experiences with it that you'd like to share, we'd love to hear from you.
Absolutely. Questions. at workshoптherapypodcast.com.
Mm-hmm. Or anything that you found that works, or ways to encourage your kids or your spouse or your crazy old parent how to push their boundaries a little bit and expand beyond what scares them.
As we go into thanking our Patreons, supporters on patrons on Patreon.
You are struggling tonight.
I am. Miguel Angel Viela.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still not 100% certain if I'm saying that exactly right. He said I was pretty close, but once again, he didn't send me a voice message to tell me how to say it properly.
I can guarantee I'm saying it wrong.
He said he really appreciated your attempt at saying his name.
Oh, gosh.
It was very
No,
entertaining.
I'm not saying names again.
Nobody said you had to.
Okay.
Would you like to?
No.
It's entertaining.
I'm not pushing my boundaries that way today.
I'll just say thank you.
Just say thank you.
To the Founding Fathers, Mr. Matthew from Argiana Serio, Brad from Brad's Customs, Keith Drennan of Blackthorn Concepts, Eric of Overall Makerworks, and Brandon Milchamp of Tectonic Creations. Thank you for being the Founding Fathers and earning yourself the place for the continual shout-out for the rest of your life, even those of you who are no longer supporting, which is only one of you. So I appreciate that. But
I do too.
He's a on and off again supporter, so I won't call him out. Aside from saying I really do appreciate him and all of them.
Any support is always appreciated.
And any support is appreciated. If you want to help us grow, reach more audience, greater audience, please share the show, especially if something resonated with you. I think that's one of the greatest things that helps us grow is actually that sharing. So once again, we appreciate it. Thank you for listening.
Go bump into your spicy friends.